I appreciate you for being here. Today is Friday, January 31st, 2025. This is called Writing a Personal Story. As you see in parentheses, restorative practice. Why is that important? Well, the more you write, the more you heal. It's a mere default of laying out what could very easily be stored in your mind for vast periods of time, and how those moments may no longer serve you into the present now. I have some questions listed here in which you can follow through or not. That's completely up to you. I will be listing more questions in the comment section, as well as there are multiple things that people have the option to consider for how it is that they would like to write for themselves. It's the concept that people are willing to write for themselves in the first place, and how that was not as promoted and welcomed in society as it is in 2025. I didn't know a day like this would come to fruition, where more people were searching for the truth from within until recently. It is a blessing to witness that, and also connect the burnt out story and how I laid that out, where I have it on multiple videos that you could find. But one, for example, these are tabloid papers as well, if you're interested in this. But it's the concept of me taking, so this was from 2012 to 2015, and that was part one. I talk about college transitions, what life was like throughout that time, graduation with associate's degree in 2015, transferring jobs, transferring college, part two, getting a bachelor's degree, part three, starting graduate school, and so on and so forth. But where I'm getting at here is just the concept of laying it out however it is that works best for you. This is another way in which you could lay out whether you want to consider parts of your life, whether you want to consider chapters. Now, that was part 5 of 2022 when I published this in August. But now I'm living like part 11, part 12 of them. So it's definitely been some time that's passed, and a lot of life lived for sure. But it's the concept of giving yourself a chance to reflect in areas of your life you may not have considered as important prior until recently. So there's some questions here. What does an outline look like for you? I provided you some here. Where would you like to begin writing? I started writing near the end of graduate school. I was writing all over the place. I was writing at my job, on slip sheets, napkins, anything I can get my hands on. I had washable markers where there were times I'd post quotes on the wall. So there was just so many different things in which I was doing at that time, not realizing how much would be setting me up to go write the burnt out story. Now, the burnt out story didn't happen because I just started writing. The burnt out story happened on behalf of a amount of life lived, which I did not know I was going to have to live. However, it happened, and the best way to proceed forward with that is processing it simultaneously to live in it, which is part 5, and I'm grateful for that, as part 5 is also when I get baptized. Anyways, but the concept of why I wrote the burnt out story was the notion of me receiving a master's in counselor education. But ultimately what I realized was my time in graduate school and 2 high school internships was the realization I would not have as much time to make a difference in every single student's life that I wanted to make within the period of time I had, which is why I became the unpopular counselor online, which is why I wrote the burnt out story, so then more people would learn about the value for them to write for themselves, and ultimately figure out a way of promoting universal mental health support services. So the best way in which I could promote that now in 2025 came through a blessing where now there is more promotions online for people to share their stories, where somehow time has progressed and people are seeking the truth from within that I did not know would be of a thing while I was attempting to promote universal mental health support services through example of my own life. Getting back to the paper in front of you, here are some ways in which you can consider writing that I'm not sure if you've started already. However, the thing to keep in mind is that there are options to wherever and however it is that you want to write and give yourself a chance to lay out parts of the past that could be served as life lessons onwards into the future based on how you make use of that in the present moment now. So now I utilize notepads all the time. In addition, I will also use audio dictation with transcript. And believe it or not, the Burnt Out Story had started through that of me using the Microsoft Word document that I would eventually upload onto a blog, and then the blog would gradually be converted into an ebook that I published online. So there are multiple ways in which you can give yourself a chance. Another way in which is not often discussed is through the draft section of your email. This is another way of purposing something that others may not consider the utilization of their email to be in that extent. However, it's the understanding of accessibility that further expands what we have available to us and is available whenever it is that we want to give ourselves a chance to write a personal story that we may not have considered essential to write or share as we have in 2025. For the fact that in 2025 more people are willing to address their past than ever before is a blessing to witness, and the best way in which I can promote universal mental health support services is to put more people onto writing, because if there's anything to be of certain is not only that life is worth an honest effort, in addition to that, it is us being human beings. And for the fact that I am capable of doing this as a human being is a reminder of how anyone else out there is capable of doing the same. And for what's laid out in front, I believe without a doubt that anyone can learn how to write for themselves. And rather than charging you thousands of dollars in order for you to learn how to write for yourself, instead just check out my content, reach out, and ultimately don't let the idea of you being too good to learn hinder why you aren't the best version of yourself in 2025. So some tips in which I provide to make sure that you can see them is keep a paper near bed, office, anywhere you can write notes, whether this is individual pieces of paper, a notepad, notebooks, whatever it is that works best for you that you can manage to utilize within that space is essential, as you will work off of at times the things that come to mind randomly and then expand on that further. Down here you'll see double entry journal. What you can do is draw a line down the center of a paper. On the left hand side you could write your initial thoughts, and on the right hand side can be where you go into further detail, whether it is at that time or another time in the day or the week or the month. It's the concept of you going back to review that further as it was something that appeared in your head prior. It's all about giving yourself a chance. As I have listed below in the box, believe in yourself and just know that writing is a journey. So I appreciate you for being here. Any questions, feel free to reach out. and you have a blessed day.